Alright, that was the scientific current sample. That was the auto-named picture me. I'm going to find something more noisy to kind of show everybody. Nope. Cool, this is not what I'm looking for. Oh, you know what? I put all the noise samples down here. All the samples that I'm playing were made on these 3 instruments right here. Though I used this one for the last noise sample I made, I don't have it loaded, so I can't show it to you guys. Ooh, go for that one. Intelligent territory. Sample playback. Yep, here we go. So now I've gone from sample loader to sample playback. I think this would be fun to like play into some kind of looper and then sort of layer melodies on top of it, because it's actually like a really good polyphonic synth, because the octaves, pronouncing that incorrectly probably both ways, are arranged up and down, so you can do cool like with the octaves, whereas like this you're stuck to like I think 2 octaves. So this one is actually more flexible as like a keyboard. Just getting a lot of like wide variety in like octaves and subharmonics and all that fun stuff. Alright, let's go down the wavetable. Ooh, that is very harsh. This is the wavetable synth, so it's taking parts of the wave and I'm using these terrible Logitech speakers as my monitors, so yeah, pretty ghetto. Let's go to the granular synth. Just takes the granular synth just takes a grain of the sample and plays it for you. So I'm going to move the position of the grain that's being played, and yikes, that's juicy. Alright, it's looping forward, so it's basically, you know, once it's done playing the little sliver, the little grain, it goes forward again. So I'm going to change it to ping pong. Let's turn the volume down a little bit. Now it's ping pong. It gets it, I don't know, makes it more like a sawtooth, I think, or like a, I don't know. Change the shape of the to a triangle. Now Gauss. Let's increase the length. So now the grain's larger, so it's playing more of the wave, so it's like grittier. Be kind of cool to put this through some kind of filter, which I'm sure you can. I'm not sure how you can take an instrument I'm playing here and load it as a separate instrument yet. Because I don't read them. And that's just how you play it. Like, you can actually do songs in this as well. I've been composing a little short pattern. It's nothing special. It's more of an experiment than anything, but I threw a lot of the noise, I guess, samples in here to try to make a noisy track. It's kind of goofy sounding. If you're familiar with the music of Aphex Twin at all, it might sound like that to you. Some of his crazier, weirder stuff. Obviously not as intuitive or talented, because he's been doing it for his entire life, and I'm very new to this, so. But here you go. It's kind of where the using cheap Logitech computer speakers really hurts things, because you really didn't hear anything on the low end, the bass line I kind of had going on. So basically the Polygon Tracker, it doesn't play things like a piano roll, like in Ableton, or most other DAWs, which is what you'd use on a computer to compose and, you know, I guess produce music. It's a tracker style, so it's top to bottom. You hit play, and it plays these little notation commands that you see here. So you see you probably can't see, but there's note, then there's the instrument that's being played in that note, so it's C, instrument 16. You move over to this row, it's a whole other row of instruments being played. It's note C5 here, so the note being C, the 5th octave, instrument number 45. Then for an effect, it has 2 effect lanes. There is V46, meaning it's capital V, so it's volume 46, so it's modifying the volume for this note on this instrument being played in this instance. And then, I think it's microtune, yeah, capital M66 is the effect for microtune, so I've microtuned it 66, so it's moved the tuning of that note a little bit. And I kind of did this, you know, I just sort of like smashed down random values for the microtune and the volume to give this bass line sort of a, I don't know, sort of a spontaneous feel and a better texture, instead of having the same note, same value, same volume, all sort of being repeated, boom, 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 like that. So it made more of a texture than if I kind of left it basic. And you know, I got other instruments playing here. I did this last night when I was kind of falling asleep, so I don't really remember exactly what I did, but it's just one of the many little, I guess, segments or patterns that I've been making. And it doesn't have a lot of musical value, but again, it's one of those things that I'm just kind of learning step by step and day by day. It's been very enjoyable for me. I have a long way to go. Before I leave, I would like to give a somewhat closer look at these instruments that I have on the camera. So I'm going to move the camera around. Alright, so here is the landscape stereo field. It can take guitar inputs in the back, and it takes control voltage inputs on the top row here, which is what I use. I'm not using the outputs and inputs in the back at all, though I could in the future. Here's the O control sequencer. It's a completely analog sequencer that uses control voltage, so nothing digital, no MIDI, nothing like that. And here is an analog synthesizer, the SV1B by Pittsburgh Modular, a company out of Pennsylvania, obviously. And I chose this synthesizer because at the price point it had the most options that I was looking for. It doesn't have a sequencer except for this little save and hold thing on the MIDI panel that I never use. Haven't figured out how to use the MIDI panel at all. It's not because it's complicated or poorly made, it's because I just have not read the manual. I've been very slow to figuring it out, and I haven't really needed it because all my stuff basically, you know, creates notes with control voltage. So I would just plug the various control voltage outputs on this or this or this and plug it into the pitch inputs and the gate inputs. The gate sort of lets the music through. A synthesizer is making music all the time, or making a sound all the time, and you shape the sound by tuning down the frequency with the, or not tuning down, but sort of breaking down the frequency or taking off the nasty parts with this filter, this huge knob here, which I love, the reason why I picked this synth. Then it goes through what they call an ADSR, which makes a gate, lets the sound through the gate, and you shape the size and shape of that gate with these four knobs here. Oh, no, I pointed to the wrong thing. That's the mixer. This is the ADSR. Okay. Embarrassing. So you shape the shape and size of the envelope with these four knobs here. I also use this VCA, or voltage controlled amplifier, with the O control to further shape the size and shape of the musical notes coming through, because its outputs don't work super well with the ADSR, and this just makes it sound, putting it directly into the amplifier gives it so much more of a more musical sound to it. And in a future video I might sort of demonstrate how that sounds. I've been using this as a modulator. It kind of makes things noisy and very interesting. It's a bit difficult to use because it's not very predictable, but it's a beautiful instrument and it does a lot of really cool creative stuff you really can't do with anything else. So then I sample it all into the Polyand tracker, and I'm repeating myself at this point, so that's a really good indicator that this video has run its course. But anyways, thank you for taking this little tour of what I've been doing lately. I hope to make more videos like this in the future. Bye bye now.